You've probably seen them on Instagram, these licks you should know videos where they show the music for a lick and the guy plays it and says, now your turn. Or you can go to the music store, buy a book, 1,000 licks you should know. And maybe you bought one of these books and got excited and started practicing, but then when you show up to the jam with your buddies or out at a bar or whatever, none of those licks you practiced actually showed up in your playing. So in this video, I want to talk about what you can do instead of trying to play 1,000 licks from a book, how you can actually get vocabulary directly in your playing so that when you're playing either by yourself or with a group, the language that you want to play in your head is accessed much more quickly. So what we want to do is instead of just playing the lick in a vacuum and hoping that we get it in a tune, we want to apply the lick to the music. My advice is start simply with this one. A lot of people will learn these licks from these books like, that's like a lick that takes the whole 2-5-1. It's like all this stuff. And then when you're playing a song and like maybe a 2-5-1 and that key comes around, you kind of force it in, but it doesn't feel good. It's clunky. It feels like it's disjointed from where your solo was. So instead, let's start with a simpler lick and see if we can apply a simpler lick to a song. So let's just do like a half a measure lick, and I'll pick, this is one I go to a lot, but it's a great song to really master some stuff on, Autumn Leaves. So the lick we'll start with is just an arpeggio. So what we're doing is I'm doing, it's 3, 5, 7, 9 of the chords. So C minor is the first chord. And I'm just doing a lead into it, a half step lead in. So if I can do that on that C minor chord, next chord F7, next chord is B flat major 7. Again, half step lead into a 3, 5, 7, 9 arpeggio. E flat. Doing it kind of out of time right now just to show you. I'm going to do the natural 9 on the half diminished chord because I like it. I'm going to do the flat 9 there. Right? So if I do it in time, a good checklist of do I actually have language under my fingers is can I take this lick and play it through the whole song. 1, 2, 3, and. Here's our second A. And maybe your left hand can only play roots. Or maybe you have no left hand, but you have a metronome. Customize this to wherever your level is. Computer's beeping at me mid-exercise. Come on, computer. Now this part's kind of tricky. Right? So you could address that 2 beats per chord thing in a bunch of different ways. We could have just done, I could have just done one of the chords and been okay with that. I could do just the other chord, right? I'm starting on the wrong one. Right? Being able to do that through the whole song, no mistakes, like owning it. Notice on these exercises, I talk while I'm playing to show you that I know it so well. It's not taking up like 90% of my brain power. It's taking up like 10% of my brain power. You want the ideas you're able to play to not be so hard, not take so much thought, so that you can free up that thought to like making sure your time is really good, making sure you're listening to the other musicians around you, making sure you're connecting with the audience, making sure you're hearing what's coming next, making sure you're hearing what just happened, right? If our whole brain is dedicated to, I gotta find the notes for this lick, you're not gonna be able to get into the deeper level stuff that you get when this gets automatic. So practice through the whole song, not just the A sections. Do it through the bridge. When you get to the part that's hard, stop and fix it and get it with the whole thing. Don't just say, oh, I got it, but except for this part. You don't got it. Sorry, bud. Once we have that down, we can take it and see how we can maybe just play around with it. Don't go nuts at first. Just see if you can take the idea and like maybe embellish it a little bit. Something like this. 2, 3. Just changing the rhythm a little bit, right? There, I kind of connected to. Right? Once we're more comfortable with that, we can embellish it even more. And so on. I don't need to do another chorus. I think you get the idea. If you don't, what's wrong with you? People think they need all this complicated vocab. They think, ooh, I gotta play a 2/5. And they like learn a pattern like that. But that's too much to learn as a pattern. Learn smaller patterns, like take this, be humble enough to learn just an arpeggio with a grace note into it and know it on every freaking chord in the song. Do this on 5 songs, all of a sudden that's gonna start showing up in your playing. You know, a bit of an aside, this is funny, in college I transcribed this Horace Silver solo, and I remember at the bridge there was this, played that sort of thing, and I worked on the solo a bunch, was playing it all the time, and then at an exam in front of other students, I played the solo, and Joey, another keyboard player in the class, after I played it, he said, that's where you got that lick you've always been playing from. I wasn't like consciously trying to move this lick into my playing, I just played that solo so much and learned it so well that it started to show up in my playing. That's a bit of an aside, that's maybe another video on transcription. But what I wanted to impart with you today is find a simple lick that you can play on every chord in a song and actually learn to play it on every chord in the song in a very structured way, in time, with conviction, so you don't have to think about it. Then take that and use that as sort of a basis for a solo and see how you can develop a solo around that. And that'll start to build some vocabulary so that you really know your way around the tune. And that'll just open up so many doors for you. If you like this video, click like, click subscribe, I guess. Drop a comment. What kind of piano stuff are you working on? What would you like to see me make content about that could help you? And finally, if you are interested in leveling up your piano playing, DM me on Instagram at Adventure with Danny. Later!